Alternative Healthcare Career Group. Again, this is Dr. Mike Chua, physical therapist. And yes, I am your alternative healthcare career coach. Anyway, if you hear me, type in you can hear me because I've been having issues with my microphone. I got the fancy one, right? You know, the fancy one here, but sometimes it doesn't work. So if you guys can hear me, type in I can hear you. And if not, we have to buy a new one, right? We got to buy a new one. Well, anyway, we don't want to buy a new one, right? We just want to repair it. Well, anyway, thank you very much who sent this shirt. It says here, the world's best physical therapist. Thank you very much, Andrew Tran. It's Andrew Tran. If you don't know Andrew Tran, you got to check him out, ladies and gentlemen. He is the physio. Is that how you pronounce it? Physio meme. He's the physio meme guy. So if you guys haven't checked him out, check him out, physiomeme.com. He helps people how to level up and everything. But before I keep on going, we have a special quote for you today. I think somebody is the comment. Somebody said, can hear you. You are sounding awesome as usual. Whoever you are, Facebook user. You are such a user, Facebook user. You're not showing up. I hope I know you. You know, it's just a joke. But thank you very much for commenting that you can hear me. So we know it's working, right? So the video is working. The microphone is working. I'm working. So remember, you know, lights, camera, action, right? Same thing in life. You may have your lights ready. I have lights here. You know, I got my light here. You may have your lights ready. You may have your camera ready. You may have your microphone ready. But if you don't take action, it's not going to do you good. You got to learn how to take action, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn off this light here. We got to take action. Well, anyway, I'm going to go back and read this stuff here, right? It says here, you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. You get in life what you have the courage to ask for. What are you asking now, ladies and gentlemen? What are you asking? That quote is from Oprah. Oprah, I hope you're watching and listening. Oh gosh, Oprah. Someday, that's my ultimate goal, right? You know, everybody wants to go to Oprah, right? You get a car, you get a car, you get a car, right? I hope someday that happens, right? Well, anyway, it says here, you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. What are you asking, ladies and gentlemen? ASK. Type in ASK if you are watching right now. ASK. This is perfect. ASK. You have not because you ask not. That is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we're going to ask our special guest for tonight. But before I keep on going, ASK. Letter A. Ask and you shall receive. What are you asking? What's the next letter on the ask word? It's perfect. Letter S is seek. Whatever you're looking for, whatever you're seeking, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get. Seek and you shall find. And last but not least on the letter word ask is letter K. Knock. Knock. And it will be open to you. What are you knocking? Are you knocking on the right door or are you knocking on the neighbor's door? Are you knocking on the right door? ASK. And I didn't say that. It was Oprah. You get in life what you have the courage to ask for, ladies and gentlemen. Keep on asking. Keep on asking. ASK. All right. Without further ado, our special guest for tonight, it's not a guest. He's like a coach, like a mentor, like a CEO, the boss of Optonome. His name is Dennis, and he is here tonight to answer some of the most common questions that we have in the what you call this, in Alternative Healthcare Career Group. Oh, my classmate, Joffrey Joel. What is going on, brother? I'm Mike, looking good. Thank you, Parikoy. Appreciate you. So I hope you're not going to shoot me with that beautiful gun of yours, right? So yes. Well, anyway, our guest for tonight, it's Dennis. He is the CEO of Optonome. We've been interviewing Shayna, but tonight we're going to be interviewing the actual CEO of Optonome. You know, ask him, what does Optonome really do? And how can they help us in the, what is it really? What is Optonome? How do you start your own home health agency? Not part A, not part B, but, you know, the waiver system. But without further ado, we are bringing in Dennis, the CEO of Optonome. What is going on there, brother? Please tell us who you are, what you do, and please help us find our alternative career, sir.
Just trying to match your energy here. Uh, but yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for having Shayna and interviewing her. Ask away. The opportunity and autonomy, something that I created over time to help you all start your own business, but also be successful in the healthcare industry. Uh, as far as you all, you're used to working for a larger organization or health system, but times are changing. Most of these health systems use technology for their back office, so I'm kind of bringing it to a more consumer or everyday user model so that you can achieve more. In short, and we can talk about whatever you want.
There you go. There you go. But a lot of people are asking, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live, please comment live. Watching on a replay, please comment replay. A lot of people are asking, what is really, who are you billing? Who are you serving, Michael, through Optonome and stuff like that? And the only reason why I know it, because I actually already serve the DIDD or the waiver system. So I already know at least a background of it. But for those people who don't know, there are several sources of payer sources or different payer source when it comes to therapy or when it comes to serving different populations. So first is the Part A, the Medicare Part A system. Next is the Part B, wherein you provide outpatient Part B services. And next is the what you call the cash. You can bill cash. And the fourth one is actually the waiver system, wherein you're providing first is the non-medical services, or in the future, if you are qualified to do it, that's the reason why Dennis is going to explain why you need to be a therapist, why you need to be a nurse, because you need eventually, as a non-medical services, you can provide those therapy and clinical oversight for those DSPs. DSPs, by the way, is what you call the direct support professional. So, Dennis, could you explain to us the process, of starting it and who is the population that we really serve?
Sure. And you could really serve anybody, to be honest. What I help everyone with is serve a population that's in high demand, and that's adults with intellectual disabilities or autism. Right now, there are over 50,000 teenagers diagnosed with autism, transitioning into adulthood each year, right? Each year. And they need services probably for the rest of their lives. And there are not enough providers out there. I know, because when I started providing services in Pennsylvania, we were the only ones really offering residential 24-hour housing, and really knew how to do it for adults with autism. So my goal is to help bring better quality providers that are out there. And that includes, for one, eliminating people like myself that are not healthcare professionals or experts. We need to get rid of them out of the system. And that's why I focus on outreaching to clinicians, people that are already in the field, have that experience, and actually can bring value to the overall service delivery. And that's currently absent right now, or at least maybe only 10-20% of the agencies out there are really offering that. So my goal is to bring that to you all so you can understand the demand, and then give you a solution or a tool to help you be successful. A lot of, I wouldn't say competitors or solutions out there, they would just help you get up and running and then leave you high and dry, trying to figure out policies and procedures, trying to recruit and train staff. But I don't want to just leave you there. I want to give you a tool so you can be successful. And that's what Optonome is.
Perfect. And that's where Optonome comes in. I'm grabbing my water, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
That's where Optonome comes in. Are you drinking beer there or just water, man?
Water.
Water. Well, anyway, that's where Optonome comes in, ladies and gentlemen. First, they're going to help you how to start up from the bottom up, and of course, the follow through from the EMR. The EMR, ladies and gentlemen, it's really hard. The company I'm contracting right now, they're still using paper. They are still using paper, pen and paper. And the only reason why I'm enjoying it because I put it in the computer, I put it in the Word file, and then type it there. And my other PTAs, they're still writing stuff down. It's so confusing.
Wow.
And the DSPs, the other DSPs, they're still writing things down. And imagine you're copying and pasting almost the same stuff again and again, and they're wasting time writing things down in the same stuff. So that's the first thing that I like about going to be using Optonome. You have the EMR. The second thing that is really bothering me because I don't know anything about it is billing. You can outsource the billing, but if you don't know what you're actually doing, it's gonna hurt your bottom line. So Optonome also handles that. Am I correct, Dennis?
Yes, and it's important that I guess in this case that it's all in one, because if it's not, in case of an audit, you're going to be checking for the staff file. You're going to be checking for the day where the service was delivered. Then you're going to check the actual documentation. And an audit question could be completely random. So imagine if you do have paper, the headache that you're going to have, especially if you have 10, 20, 30, 50 plus staff. There is a huge need for a way to help you scale and support more people or focus on supporting more people without the headache in the back office. So that's really why Optonome is here.
Mm, you know, did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? The word there is scale. If you are doing everything on your own, I always hear this from my coaches and everything. If you are, yes, you may have your LLC and everything, but if you are doing everything on your own, you don't have a business. You are self-employed in that business. But with this type of concept, you can scale yourself and hire DSPs or direct support professional, and you can scale. You
Right.
mentioned about 20, 30 employees. And that's how you develop your influence and impact in your community, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta learn how to scale and help more people, not just you, but your assistants, your
Right.
therapists, your DSPs, and everything. There's a great question here by some of our Facebook user here. It says here, how do you get your referrals as well as pool of staffs, DSPs for the CEOs? That is a great question. I know the answer, but I'll let Dennis take care of that, Dennis.
Looks like somebody that has an idea what Optonome is doing. So the model or the care model that I created into Optonome helps you actually attract more referrals. And it's because 95 or all the people on Medicaid are on Social Security income. That means they're receiving less than what it costs to live in a one-bedroom apartment. So they can't afford it. As a result, there's a huge housing crisis issue. And by using Optonome and also being a clinician, you're able to be more efficient in the back office. And as a result, you're more profitable because you don't have as many or any administrative staff. And so by using Optonome, you're able to be more profitable. And so as a result, you can offer benefits to the actual consumer. It's all at your discretion. So say if you're profiting, say $1,500 a month, and your consumer would, if they could find an affordable apartment, they would be able to focus on their goals for the next 5 years and maybe get their own job. So what would you do in that situation? Would you take $300 of your profits to contribute to their housing? That's the question that I have everybody answer. If you're saying yes to that, then you actually do care about your consumers or your clients. And this type of care model is very attractive to you because competitors can't really offer such a solution because they have administrative staff, as well as they don't have the Optonome solution. So they're not as profitable as you are. So that's really what attracts referrals. And that's what they love because you're able to offer housing opportunities or subsidized housing opportunities. And that's how we market for you to get your word out, because we know what they're looking for.
Mm. That's a great question there. I think that's Cheryl there. Uh, Another question that I also get all the time, Dennis, is how do we provide the housing? Am I going to buy the house, or is it Optonome going to buy the house? Are we going to rent the house? Are you going to rent the house? Uh, I mean, how does that work? Could you explain
Um,
that?
yeah, and I just remember I didn't answer the DSP question, but we could get to that. As far as the housing, just think about the scenario that I just explained. If you're able to offer a subsidy to someone's housing, uh, you have different options. You can go to apartments.com and you can find an apartment or house available. The person could also be living in their own home and can't afford it anymore. That type of situation. Or you can possibly um, come together and own a home. And it's all based on your state if you own the home. Some states do allow you to own and provide a service in that home. Some states don't. It all depends. But if you do own the home, you can actually earn from rent as well as from the service delivery. So you do have an option there. As far as Optonome, we look to create housing opportunities so you don't have to worry about managing that home. If you do own the home, you definitely have to manage it on your own. But since I've used this product to manage renovation projects, there are ways that we can manage contractors as they go inside in and out the home, so that your place is in compliance all the time. And so I used it for many years providing 24-hour care, because if you are providing 24-hour care, if there's a problem in the home, it needs to be fixed within 24 hours. So there's a need to have steady communication with contractors, as well as be able to pay for things so you don't always have an actual person doing it. So all that is actually being built or rebuilt into the Optonome application right now.
Amazing, amazing. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. You got the one-stop shop on everything. You know, you don't have to worry. Not really worry. I mean, you're still gonna worry because you own the company, obviously, right? I mean, I always worry stuff, but you get to delegate. If you don't know how to delegate, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna die. You gotta learn how to delegate. You know, do
Yeah.
you think I do everything here in our group? No, I don't do everything. You know, normally there's a person behind the scene controlling the stuff. So right now I'm doing it. But, you know, as a CEO of your own company, yes, you get to do what you're supposed to do, but you have to learn how to delegate. And that's what Dennis was talking about, learning how to delegate. Either you own the home, depending upon your state, you make money out of that rent too, or you actually rent from another person or from another house, and then you pay, you
Yep.
help manage the finances of that specific consumer or client that you have. They call it consumer, right, Dennis, or
The
client. So
participant, whatever you.
participant or whatever. So, all right. Well, before I keep on going, thank you very much for watching Captain David. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched or seen Captain David's show, you got to check that out. What's his show? The Uncaged Clinician. You got to check his show out. His show, Uncaged Clinician. If you want to be a cash-based practice person, you got to check Captain David Bailiff. All right, let's go back to Dennis. I got some question here, Dennis, but it's a private question here. Uh,
Sure.
how? Well, it's the same question. How do you get referrals?
Sure.
Private
And I guess
answers.
I could cover the DSP question, the
Oh
pool.
yeah.
So,
Mhm.
uh, when you receive a referral, you could receive a referral for somebody that needs 15 staff. You know, you could somebody could require 24-hour care. In that type of scenario, you would have a 7 to 3 shift, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's 3 people right there full time during the week. Then you need a backup, or at least 2 backups. So that's 5 right there. Then the weekend, you have 2 people doing uh, 12-hour shifts, all right? So that's 7 people. There's scenarios where someone needs 2 to 1, all right? So that's 14, 15 people, which is one referral. So there's a need to really create a way where there's an ongoing flow of people that are training, as well as indicating their availability, skill sets, um, and able to freely um, have an on-demand job that's available. So that's what we create with the pool. It's kind of like a Uber pool, um, but we offer them multiple job opportunities, not just at your agency. So it's a way that they can earn a living wage, but at the same time don't get burnt out, which is usually the problem right
I like what you mentioned, burnt out. In the houses that we served or that I go to right now as a quote unquote physical therapist, not as an owner agency. Okay, I go there as a physical therapist right now. Every time I go back after a week or after a month, it's a different DSP. It's a different caregiver. Why? Because the turnover is so high. And imagine if you own that agency and you don't know how to replace. It's so hard to hire people now. It's difficult. I mean, right now I'm trying to hire PTs and PTAs, and there's a lot of people who needs job, but it's so hard to hire and rehire and fire and orient and train, and and if you have a big turnover, you need some support. I mean, even bigger companies, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I hope someday I become big as Dennis, but bigger companies, ladies and gentlemen, they hire an outside HR people. I mean, in my accounting software, I pay QuickBooks to do all the accounting stuff. I cannot even, if you become so big, you'll have a hard time. You got to train this and train that, and DSPs, the turnover is so high. So the good thing about this is you've got network of different CEOs or different agency owners that we can share. Technically, you can share. So, for
now.
example, I'm here in, let's just say I'm here in Martin, Tennessee, or Jackson, Tennessee, and I have like a group of another group homes or facility pretty close to me, and I would call that other CEO, hey, can I help? Do you have any other help there and stuff like that? They can send those extra staff there. All right. Before I keep on going and
Right, right.
talking,
Um,
there's a question here by Andy. Dennis.
sure,
Andy is asking, can you go over more in depth in what the rewards are and examples? Are this only available in certain areas?
sure, sure. So she's talking about the rewards offering, which we launched earlier this year. And when I was running my agency, one of the ways we did attract to receive more referrals was to um, offer activities like going to the zoo without having the consumer pay out of their pocket because they're on a fixed income. Why should they pay out of pocket when you're profiting? So what the rewards offers is a way for you to pay for these expenses without coming out of your pocket. So is that? And so we do have an option where you can actually receive $150 a month once up and running to put towards activities of your referrals so that they can participate in more activities. You can offer more benefits to them. And otherwise, you'll be coming out of pocket.
That's true. Of course, you still want to be profitable, ladies and gentlemen. I
Still want to
mean,
be profitable.
that's where you come in as a CEO. You got to decide, I mean, just like managing your money at home. I mean, I wish I hope I'm managing my money right. We get a salary, and then you pay your taxes. Obviously, you got to pay your taxes. You pay the rent, you pay your utilities, you pay your house, your mortgage, your car, and everything. And whatever is left is for some sort of luxury, or whatever, whatever you want to do in your extra money. Now, same thing when you're managing your clients' resources or their financial income. It will go to the payment to the DSPs. Let's just say payment to the rent, their food. What else are the common expenses, Dennis?
In a service business, it's just staff.
Yeah, staff,
Just staff.
and then if there's leftover, that's your income. Now, if you want to spend more and give more rewards, some houses, I go to some houses who are so supportive that they've got a fancy, just right now, the Halloween or before the Halloween, right? The Halloween, they got the full house designed for Halloween. They buy costumes for their residents and everything. And you got houses that are like, oh gosh, it's not even designed or whatever, nothing. So you will see the difference there. So what kind of house are you going to be? What kind of group home are you going to be? And that's where your creativity as a PT, OT, or speech therapist or a nurse, that's where your creativity comes in. Are you going to spend more on this and save, or spend more on that and then be the preferred provider, or save and then other residents or other clients in your community, "Oh, I don't want to go to that group home. It's like, a normal group home," or so you have to also differentiate yourself to
Right.
the community. So
Yep. You're absolutely right. It's a way to not only jumpstart your offering once you're up and running, but ongoing. You'll always have something available to contribute to your consumers.
And of course, at first you have to invest in your home, invest in your community, in your DSPs, invest in your community, and then once your community sees that, oh, this specific company, my case it's Tennessee Home and Welfare, this specific company, they're really providing good services. Oh, I'm gonna send all my IDD patients there, my clients and everything, to that group home. And then that's where you, just like a regular therapy thing, if they see a good result in your therapy skills, they're going to continue to come back. There's another great question here, Dennis, from Andy again. Is there any out of pocket costs for the clients with IDD or autism or the older adults if you go that route? So,
Yeah, it's all based on your state. I always refer to 29 acres. One of my advisor actually started 29acres.org, so you could check that out. That's a private pay option. It's kind of like a campus in Texas outside of Dallas that offers a private pay option in housing for adults with autism. So you could definitely check that out. And you could offer the same thing in your area.
wow. Oh, wow. Well, thank you. What is that? 29acres.com?
.org.
I have 29 acres.
Dennis,
Dennis, you're going to give me some 29 acres, right?
give me some 29 acres.
All right. So that's so awesome. Someday I will have that. I have an acre now, anchored back. Well, anyway, there's another question here from another Facebook user here. How does Optonome help CEOs afford housing to get started before you're making profits? That's a great question. Just for me, if I don't have money, right? Are you able to start your agency without subsidized housing initially until you're profitable? Could you answer that for us, Dennis? But before you answer that,
All right.
we are going on a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back.
Why did I choose Optonome?
Why my agency is empowered by Optonome.
Why did I join Optonome?
Why I chose to use the Optonome platform.
I chose Optonome because it allows me to have a work-life balance and provide skilled clinical care for my clients.
I chose Optonome because of the amazing support structure that it provides to my consumers and staff.
I feel that Optonome is one of the only platforms that looks at my clients with disabilities as a person, not as a number.
The Optonome platform serves as our back office, therefore allowing us to use our skill set to serve our consumers best, to see the best possible outcomes.
The Optonome talks about different things. They talk about value-based care. They intentionally limit the number of clients we serve so that we can stay focused on the main thing and not get overwhelmed, that we can focus on providing for our people, meeting their needs, helping them to develop a level of independence and satisfaction with their lives, and I can get behind that. That's why I'm here.
All right, welcome back to our show called Alternative Healthcare Career Show, wherein we help you find your alternative healthcare career. So tonight we've got our special guest, special mentor, CEO of Optonome, Dennis, and he's actually here to answer some of your questions. And then, of course, that previous question that we're going to have. So I'm going to bring in Dennis again. Welcome back, Dennis. We've got that previous question before we went on a quick break. The question again is, how does Optonome help CEO afford housing to get started before you're making profits? And are you able to start your agency
Right.
without subsidized housing? So
That is a great question. And from a real estate perspective, say if you do go the apartments.com option, most of the time that landlord or that homeowner will put some type of additional costs on top of their mortgage in order to make a profit. The goal, if Optonome is helping with the housing, is we wouldn't charge that for that profit margin. All right, so you can get the actual cost of the mortgage or whatever that expense is, and be able to offer a better housing opportunity, because we're not making, we don't care to make money off the home, because we're able to make money from service delivery. So we're able to help you offer a better service to your client as a result, right? Where if you do go outside or get a home from somebody else, it will definitely be more expensive. So that's how we help CEOs afford housing, by creating hubs. And believe maybe earlier this year, we were just searching homes for everybody in their area to really give you an idea of what a hub looks like. It's a bunch of homes in one area to help you not travel far. So that's really the goal, so that you can offer affordable housing, as well as be able to subsidize it.
and the houses, Dennis, are it's decent. Most of the houses that I go to are pretty decent. I mean, it's, of course, their qualification. The state's gonna audit you and everything. They're gonna go there and check on you. But I mean, there's a big difference, ladies and gentlemen. If you're working for a home health agency, like a Medicare Part A agency, those home health patient, they have their own homes, right? And most of the home health Part A patient, it's not really nice because it's their own home. But this houses from agencies, it's pretty nice and decent. It's clean because they have to be,
Yeah,
they're going to be audited by the state if
yeah.
it's nice and
Anytime
clean.
inspector can come out, and there's a long list of items that they can check on. So you do not want to be out of compliance when they come in. So that's another reason what, as far as Optonome, we help you keep and stay in compliance within that home as well.
Is it, I mean, that's where you come in as, as a clinician. Hey, this bathroom needs to be, this and that, the bed, the wheelchair, the size of the door and stuff like that. That's where
Right.
you come in
Right.
uh, to actually help
Right.
uh, check if that house is really fit for our DIDD or IDD population. So that's a great question there. That's a
Yep.
great question.
Mhm.
Dennis, we don't have any questions right now. If you have any questions, shoot me a message, private message, or put it up here in either on Facebook or on YouTube. The next question that I normally get, Dennis, is I forgot.
Sorry.
Let me go.
So the types of services that you can offer, respite. A lot
Yeah.
of people do
Yeah.
respite right now. Once you're going through the licensing process, my goal is to really help you offer a service to make you profitable. All right, you're creating a for-profit business. The goal is to be profitable. If it takes 2 years, the goal is to become profitable. Fortunately, you're in an industry that's growing rapidly. So at this time, especially with this new administration coming in, the focus is more on home care, home and community care, because it saves the government money. So with the types of services that you'll be qualified for, will help you get qualified for a respite, which helps families or people that are transitioning from their family home to their own home, or are currently living in their own home and can't live alone anymore. Respite care really helps with that. Supportive employment. 90% of those with disabilities are unemployed. So there's a huge opportunity there to create jobs or help create businesses for these people to help them live more independent lives. One of the things that we do and have set up is the Airbnb opportunity, and we're building in the cleaning service. It could be $25, $50, and you could pass that on to a consumer where they now have a job opportunity. So there are multiple ways that you can offer services. There's also skill building, community support services, behavioral specialist services, PT, OT. There are many people that need speech therapy, as well as nursing services on top of everything else. And most people do need medication reminders as well as medication administered to them. So we've been managing all those tasks and have been audited on those tasks as well. So you have a solution of autonomy been um, so once you are up and running, you have a tool that's efficient, helps staff uh, provide a better service offering, which is really key here.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I like what you said about the Airbnb concept. A lot of people, a lot of OTs are very interested on the coffee shop
Yeah.
slash like a big shop wherein you have your clients working there, and then that's also a part of your business. Wherein you're providing, making money out of the coffee shop itself, and then you have your clients working there. That's the concept there, and skill building.
Yeah.
Now I remember, I mean, the question here, Dennis, if I am can an assistant start this? And there's another person who also asked that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great approach for a coder or PTA to get started, even if you're uh, not going back to school to become an OT or PT. It's definitely a great opportunity, especially since our network has grown where you have other clinicians that could possibly live close to you, like you were saying earlier. Now that there are more clinicians in the network, they can support your offering and you can actually give value now. Before, with no one in the area, there's no one to exchange the value that you'll be able to offer. But now we have other clinicians in the area that can equally trade some type of value.
Perfect, perfect. Let me just highlight what it says here. Is a PTA. How does it look like when you partner with a PT? That's perfect. Is there any way to do this without partnering? And can you also partner with an RN instead?
Whoa, that's beautiful. A PTA and an RN, sky's the limit there. Also, a PTA with a PT, sky's the limit. But I do suggest being your own owner and not partnering. At least get started by yourself um, and provide that service, because a lot of people change their minds after maybe a year or two down the line. You don't really want to deal with that, not with when you have to actually go through licensing processes. I would say try to, if you could, go solo. But if you do have this scenario that you're presenting now, like with an RN, the types of services you can qualify for is unlimited.
Hmm. Now I want my daughter to be an RN, right? So a lot of people like, oh, I want to partner. I want to, there's nothing wrong with partnership, but this is what I always say, and I always hear from other people too, and coaches and leaders. The only ship that doesn't sail is partnership, and Dennis already mentioned it. It's I mean, I know a lot of different clinics here. They're even suing each other because they're just they just want this and that. You have to wait for your partner to decide,
Right.
and if you do it on your own, boom, That's the beauty of this. You're your own boss, and autonomy is to support the billing, the EMR, and everything. That's a great question there. Andy again. Andy, I keep on seeing you. I love the picture. That's so sweet. So,
Yeah, this guy.
Dennis, I'm gonna move my head like this and go ahead and kiss me on the chicks, man. Just kidding.
Right.
All right. So Andy said, so do you have to do the housing piece and be in charge of the house as well, or can you just provide the services? That's a great question there.
Really good question. So there's kind of like two parts to that question. So do you have to do the housing piece? No, you don't. I'm just telling you where the demand is, where you will be receiving referrals if you do have some type of housing component or can offer some type of home. Can you get that question back up? And so as far as being in charge of the house, it all depends on the service or if you own the house. If you own the house, it's totally separate. Yes, you do have you're responsible for the home. The good thing is the way the software is set up, as DSPs are going in the house and have downtime, they're able to document information related to compliance requirements. So say if they have a downtime of 2 to 3 minutes, they're not sitting down anymore. They can, and they're in the living room, they can get a notification to say, check on this item that's in the living room, something like that. So you don't have to continuously supervise that home. We're able to manage that home on your behalf using the DSPs that are already going into the home.
Amazing, amazing. So that's really a great question there. So it's either or. You guys can do it, or you don't have to do it. But of course, if you want to provide more services, because like what Dennis said, you can provide as much as whatever service that you want to provide, because you're the one who's really managing it for them. Taking care of their housing, their health, their need. And imagine that's the reason why you need to be a therapist or a nurse or a social worker, because if you're, a lot of people will say it's Stark law, but if you imagine you're already managing everything, you can provide the therapy services, you can provide the nursing services, you can provide the social services. As an OT or a therapist, you can provide skills. Teaching them like what Shane is bragging about, teaching them how to date. Imagine that. Teaching them how to date and eventually date, and then have prepared their wedding and stuff like that. Those are life-changing stuff. And not all agencies are doing that. I know one right now. The agents, the home that I go to somewhere here in obviously here in Tennessee. They have the other house. The person is also intellectually disabled. He has a scheduled call with the patient that I go to, the person that I go to, and they call and they're dating, and the DSP there is supervising it.
Right.
Because you'll never know what's going to go, but they're talking over the phone and they're dating and stuff like that. It's life changing. They're teaching them how to cook instead of just cooking for them. That's the stuff that we're going to be able to provide as therapists and RNs or whoever is going to start their own agency.
Right.
There's a great question here by Tony. Tony, I like
All
your
right.
picture there.
Yeah.
If a CEO opts to have a house and provide 24 live-in care to the consumer, non-elderly, is that pair source still Medicaid? And are we still working off an ISP for community goals for that consumer? Or is that set up a housing only? Oh gosh, I don't know the answer to that. I'll let Dennis take care of that.
Yeah, let me read it one more time. CEO ops to have a house. Who's the payer? If the payer source still Medicaid, is the question, is the payer source still Medicaid? If the payer source is Medicaid, ISP is everything. If the payer source is not Medicaid, like the person's paying out of pocket, most of the time the family comes in or a family member comes in to say, okay, I want this, this, and this done. Usually there's not an ISP in place if they're not on Medicaid. Hopefully in the near future, we can introduce the ISP to more people, like older adults. So there is a plan in place, and it's clear on what what you know about their behaviors, what do you know about the supervision levels or what they like and don't like or admire. The ISP really helps you outline that so you can kind of hit the ground running. That's why that referral really starts with the ISP and you understanding that ISP so you can provide the right service. The last part of this question, I don't understand the last part of the question on the housing.
Hmm.
Hopefully,
Okay. For those who don't know, ISP means individual support plan. That is actually when you go to a clinic or to a nursing home or to whatever, hospital. That is your plan of care. Your everything is in there. The likes, the dislikes. What time the patient wakes up. Whatever. Medical stuff,
yeah,
everything, and that's the foundation of everything. Even
right.
their money itself, it's right there. Their how much they get paid, how much this, how much that, everything is in that ISP. The only reason why I understand it now, before I don't care. I mean, all I know is PT evaluation, that's it. But when I started, working for these agencies, and I said, oh, this is what Dennis is talking about. Oh, this is
Right.
what Shane is talking about. Oh, and that's the reason why I understand it now. But if you don't know, if you're still a regular therapist, not regular, you're working in a regular therapy job, you'll have a hard time understanding all the language and the lingo and stuff like this. I was like, oh, what are we providing again? Are we providing therapy or providing just the non-medical stuff? Right now, when you're starting your program, it's non-medical. You're providing non-medical services, and then as you grow, as you develop your whatever you call that, your company, then you start providing skilled services. All right, am I correct there, Dennis?
Yes, you're absolutely right. You don't want to go directly into the medical side because one, the insurance is about 10 times higher. So you want to be able to be profitable first before you get into that, especially and as well as the regulations. The regulations are more strict, there are more requirements. The good thing is we do help you manage it. Uh, but as far as the documentation requirements, that's a little bit more. But as far as the back office, we make it as easy as possible for you, but there are additional requirements.
Yes, that is so true. This is a great question here. Does Medicaid pay for the 24-hour live-in care? Go
Yeah,
in and answer that, Dennis.
yeah, good question. So they do pay for room and board. All right, so they pay up to 72%. Well, the actual consumer, they pay 72% of their income, so their social security income. 72% goes towards their room and board. Medicaid pays the difference. So you can manage that home, buy groceries, keep it up. Like if you need a cleaner in there, we could get a cleaner in there. And so we help you manage that home as well. If we need groceries, if we need to order items, usually what I did was I would have Amazon Prime and have it set up where you could have that list of items and it'll be ordered. All right. So something like that could definitely be set up so you don't have to, if you have a consumer that's not readily involved in the daily activities or the maintenance of the home, you could just automatically get it set up. Otherwise, if they are involved, you can have it a part of their everyday activities and you can make it a part of their ISP.
Bam. There you go. That's where we come in. We tell them, okay, for example, Mrs. Smith, or for example, the patient's name is or James or whatever. James Smith or John, today we're gonna go to your grocery, and what do you want? Here's the list. And then that's part of your program. If you're an OT or a PT, okay, let's go to the grocery and let's go ahead and choose or whatever. You're doing all the therapy itself there. That's more therapeutic. That's more life changing versus a DSP just buying stuff for them and bringing home, and then that's it. Boom. It needs to be therapeutic, and at the same time, it needs to be meaningful and functional. That's where we come in as PTs, OTs, and speech therapists. That's how you're going to differentiate yourself from other providers.
Right.
That makes sense. I hope I said that right, Dennis?
Yeah, you did a good job. And you're going to be with this person for years. It's not just a 1, 2, 3 month stint. You know, they're going to be with you for years. You could really
Mm.
see the improvements over time.
Forever, technically, right?
That
Forever.
will be forever.
And no discharge, right? There's another great question. I know it's I know we're almost done, so we got like 2 or 3 more questions, Dennis. I know you got another stuff going on. From another Facebook user, if an older adult has Medicaid as their payer source, can they receive services from your agency in their home, receive subsidized housing, or is this strictly for adults with IDD or developmental disabilities? That's also a great question, Dennis.
Can they receive it? Yes, I've done that before. So someone that's living in their own house, receiving Medicaid services, and cannot afford their home anymore. Yes, you can come in as a provider, start providing those services, and with those profits that you're making, you can help them afford their home now.
Is it going to be a different application? Because I know the application is under in our state in Tennessee, it's DIDD. So is it going to be a different application, or how does that
Well,
work?
it's still so we're not. It's still the same as far as the services that they're receiving. There's no. It's the same payer source, Medicaid. What you're doing is you're being creative on how you're providing the service, and from your business standpoint, how you're allocating your funds. So as far as the payer source, it doesn't matter who the payer source is. It's how you allocate your profits.
Amazing. We got one last question here. Again, if you are still watching live, please comment live. Watching on the replay, please comment replay. We're almost done. Got last one more question here from Tony again. Is it correct that one autonomy model, the CEO can have 2 to 3 live consumers where the CEO is providing food, room, etc.? With that model discussed at the live last week, who pays for that consumer to live in your home?
Okay, so you provide the food only in 24-hour care, and that's when Medicaid pays for it. If you're not providing 24-hour care, 9 times out of 10, because they're on Medicaid, they're receiving some type of food stamp um, monies for groceries. Um, so there are 2 different types of main housing options. You have the 24-hour care, and then you have those that can live wherever they want to live. All right. Those that are receive or need 24-hour care, Medicaid will cover their room and board, where they have to come out of pocket 72% of their Social Security income. Then you have the other pool of people that can live wherever they want if they can afford it. In that case, they depend on their Social Security and food stamps. All right, not you. Hopefully that helps.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, again, thank you very much, Dennis, for coming over, for clarifying stuff. I know there are still a lot of people who are asking this, asking that. If you got any questions, reach out to Dennis. Dennis, thank you very much for your time and for your, help in our group. Where can we reach you? What's your website and stuff like that? And any last parting wisdom for us before we let you go, sir?
All right. Yeah, Optonome.com. Check us out. Been doing this for a long time. So definitely check out our journey, see how we got here. It's been a long road. Definitely learn more. You could sign up. We offer a free home healthcare agency in a box where you get a free business plan. Good business plan. Pretty sure we guys probably low line of credit with it to start your business. So it's a great opportunity to understand what home healthcare is and the different payers. If you have questions, you can definitely text us at 215-543-3843.
Can you say that again? Dennis, 215
543-3843. You can text us.
3843.
You can text us.
There you go. All right. You check it out, optonome.com. Don't forget to type in, you saw it from us, Alternative Healthcare Career Group. And, you can also text or call This number here, 215-543-3843. And don't forget to mention that you saw it from me, Alternative Healthcare Career. Again, thank you very much, Dennis. I appreciate you for your time. Nick, we got to start this in Nashville, man. We got to start this, thank you again, Tony. Tony said, thank you both. Appreciate you, Tony, for watching. Appreciate you and very informative. That's Dennis, not me. I'm just a facilitator here. But thank you again, Dennis. I appreciate you for coming over and for teaching us and for helping us find our alternative healthcare career. Any last parting wisdom for us, sir? Especially encouragement.
Don't eat too much turkey tomorrow.
Are you talking to me or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, make the right career decisions. We're in a time where you could use your knowledge to definitely get ahead with the assistance of technology. As a computer engineer, this is the tool for you all that you could really get ahead. And in this pandemic, is probably the best time to start a business or work on yourself or your future where everything is closed. And next year, when everybody opens back up, really what opportunities will be available to you. Most people would definitely be interested in starting their own business. And in the healthcare industry, most people are transitioning, or the industry is moving from institutional type settings to more individualized and customized healthcare. And we're at the forefront of that. So definitely take advantage for yourself, your family, and your local community.
I so love that, Dennis. Again, thank you very much for coming over. Appreciate you. I like what Dennis said, ladies and gentlemen. Now is the perfect time to start a business. You know why? Because the perfect time, just like planting a tree, the perfect time to plant a tree was like 8 years ago, right? When is the next perfect time? Today. Same thing with starting your own side hustle, your business, or whatever. If you're looking for your alternative healthcare career, now is the perfect time. Even though there's a crisis, even though there's a pandemic. Why? Because in the middle of crisis, ladies and gentlemen, lies an opportunity. Imagine that. If we didn't have the crisis right now, who would have thought they could create the vaccine, right? I mean,
Right.
who would have thought that?
Yeah.
So remember this. If you really want to get out of your if you want to achieve your next level, you got to get out of your comfort zone. We are always in that comfort zone in therapy field. Oh, we're going to be like this, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? The only way for you to get out is get off that comfort zone. I remember this disciple in the Bible. I don't know if you're a Christian, Dennis, or whoever you are watching right now. There's this disciple in the Bible. He was in the boat, right? And he wanted to walk on water too. And the only way for him to be able to walk on water is to get out of that boat. His comfort zone was that boat. He was comfortable in that boat. Oh, I'm going to be here. He had to get out of that boat and start walking. And he started walking on water. I mean, this really happened, right? It's in the Bible, somewhere in Revelation and Genesis. He started walking in the water. Well, guess what? When he started walking in the water, he actually drowned. He was drowning. He drowned in the water. The only time he was able to stand up and start walking again is focusing on his goal. His goal that time is to focus and walk towards Jesus, who was in the middle of that storm or whatever. And then when he started focusing there, bam, he started able to walk again. I don't know the rest of the story. Go ahead and just read it somewhere there in the Bible. But that's how you do it. You got to get out of that comfort zone. You got to get out of the boat. Whether we're talking about that boat of that disciple or the actual boat, a lot of people will say when you're coming from a different country, fresh from the boat. Fresh from the boat. Fresh out of the boat. There's a show called Fresh Out of the Boat. People who are fresh out of the boat, they're like, oh gosh, this is a new place. I got to do this by hook or by crook. So before I let you go, always remember the word fast. F-A-S-T. Letter F. Find friends that will push to your next level. Because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Who are you hang out with? Are you hang out with people who are actually awesome? Guess what? You're going to be awesome. Right now, I'm hanging out with Dennis. I feel like I'm a CEO, right? I feel like I'm a millionaire like Dennis. I want to be a millionaire like Dennis, So find friends that will push you to your next level. If you want to be a millionaire, hang out with a millionaire, right? So someday I'm going to be like Dennis level, right? Just a little bit close like that. Dennis, give me some of that, right? So find friends that will push you to your next level. And next letter is letter A. You got to learn how to take action. All this stuff that we're doing, it's not going to do me good. It's not even going to do Dennis good if you don't take action. Take action by reaching out to him. Go to his website, optonome.com. It's so hard. I had a hard time pronouncing that before. Optonome, now I know it. I used to pronounce it Opton O or whatever. Now I know how to pronounce it, Optonome. And reach out, take action, right? Take action. Next letter in the word fast is letter S. Shoot for the moon. Why? If you keep shooting for the moon, why? You're going to miss it. But you're going to be landing with the stars. I kept shooting for the moon. I kept being rejected. Well, guess what? I applied for my my whatever you call this, credentialing. It's still rejected. But it doesn't matter how many times you failed or fallen or got sick. What matters how many times you get up and do this all over again. You're going to fail. People will reject you. People will say no. But it's not how many times you get no. It's how many times you get to say yes. Last but not the least, letter T. You know what? It's not time out, but teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, like what Dennis is doing, he's teaching us how to find our alternative career. He's teaching us how to start our own home health agency. He's teaching us how to be better. Because the more you hear it, the more you see it, the more you teach it, the more you understand it. Again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. Like what Dennis said, don't eat too much turkey. We're not going to have a show tomorrow because of Thanksgiving. But again, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you very much, everyone who's still watching live. Appreciate you. Be awesome. Be great. Be excellent. And we will see you next week.
Why did I choose Optonome?
Why my agency is empowered by autonomy.
Why did I join Optonome?
Why I chose to use the Optonome platform.
I chose Optonome because it allows me to have a work-life balance and provide skilled clinical care for my clients.
I chose Optonome because of the amazing support structure that it provides to my consumers and staff.
I feel that Optonome is one of the only platforms that looks at my clients with disabilities as a person, not as a number.
The Optonome platform serves as our back office, therefore allowing us to use our skill set to serve our consumers best, to see the best possible outcomes.
See, Optonome talks about different things. They talk about value-based care. They intentionally limit the number of clients we serve so that we can stay focused on the main thing and not get overwhelmed. That we can focus on providing for our people, meeting their needs, helping them to develop a level of independence and satisfaction with their lives. And I can get behind that. That's why I'm here.